Today is Wednesday, February 22nd. Today I'm going to be doing a follow-up to the trim tag data plate decoding and specifically the designation of the bucket seats using a proper, authentic bucket seat -B identifier as shown in this General Motors trim tag data plate off of a 1967 Eldorado coming from my friend Dave in Seattle, Washington. So in this particular instance, what we have is a 482-B, the -B designation being for the bucket seats, because the bucket seat designation always follows the dash as part of the trim tag designation denoted with the TR. Unlike one of the previous videos that I did showing a 451 or a 452 dash with no B suffix at the end of the trim designation, but having a B in the bottom line, which is specifically for the add-on feature of the rear window defogger. And why General Motors decided to use a B for the rear window defogger, we don't know, but that's what the designation is for the rear window defogger when it's on the bottom line. So in this instance, what we have is a B suffix, which is appropriate and period correct and authentic for the bucket seats, following the trim code designation of 482-B, B as a suffix as part of the incorporated trim code designation. Excuse me, not to be confused with the B at the bottom line, which denotes with specificity for the rear window defogger. So in the preceding video, which I had done, that showed a B at the bottom, which again is indicative of denoting a rear window defogger, and no B as a suffix on a car that was purported to be a bucket seat. In that predecessor video, we were showing the ambiguity of an erroneous designation where someone purports the car to be a bucket seat car, but it does not have the -B or the -R if it's a recliner with headrests and bucket seats. So in this video today, I'm showing the differences using an authentic bucket seat trim tag data plate provided to me by my friend Dave in Seattle. And this is a 482, and I can go to the Cadillac LaSalle Club database and I can look at the designations. And here we see that when the B is shown as a suffix as part of the trim code, that is what denotes bucket seats. So when the B is a suffix to the trim code, TR for trim code, this is how the bucket seat on an authentic factory delivered bucket seat vehicle, this is how it's denoted on the trim tag data plate, having nothing to do with a B designation on the bottom line, which if we look here, we can see the plain B, not part of the suffix of the trim code, is the rear window defogger. The rear window defogger as a B standalone at the bottom line. Okay, uh, I can further go in and I can see some of the other trim codes here. Where in this particular instance, we can see that the 482 is specific to sandalwood leather, beautiful color, sandalwood leather, not to be confused with the darker antique saddle leather, but the sandalwood leather is almost like a light cream or beige. So in this particular trim tag data plate for my friend Dave in Seattle, Washington, what we have is a saddlewood leather car that's an authentic bucket seat car as denoted by the 482-B, confirmed by the original production binders that I have from 1967 to 1970 for all of the Eldorados produced off the Euclid facility as well as a Clark Street, Fleetwood, West Detroit facility. I have all the original production binders. I'm not pulling those out because I'm using something that's publicly available and published by the Cadillac LaSalle Club, denoting a 482. Whereas the other predecessor video, what we had was a 452, which is white leather with black carpet. Okay. In that previous video where we had a 452 dash, there was no B suffix because again, the B suffix right here is part of a trim code designation for bucket seats following the trim code on the data plate following the trim code right there. Okay, not to be confused with the rear window defogger. Okay, we can look at the other specifications. In this particular instance, what we have is a 42, which is the sedan beige. So this car was originally a 480. This car was originally a 482 saddlewood interior, authentic bucket seat designation, with a sedan beige and a black cross green padded top. As long as we're talking about the vinyl top, there's also been a lot of erroneous commentary referring to the original E1 Eldorado series vinyl top as being tuxedo grain. General Motors Cadillac, specifically for the Eldorado, never used tuxedo grain. This is entirely wrong. General Motors Cadillac and on the Eldorado used cross grain. Okay, cross grain is the correct. Let me see if I can pull it up here a little bit. There we go. Cross grain is the correct designation for the vinyl top. So if it's a 1 for white, that would be in cross grain. If it's a 2, as is in this particular instance, it's a black vinyl top. So we have 6 designating a vinyl top, 2 designating a black vinyl top, and 42 designating the Sudan beige, 42 designating the Sudan beige, 482 designating the sandalwood interior, -B as the suffix for the bucket seat. So this is how an authentic bucket seat 1967 Cadillac Eldorado data tag would look. This is the period correct authentic trim tag data plate for a 1967 Eldorado that is a factory delivered bucket seat car, and not to beat a dead horse, but the -B has to follow the trim code. So in the predecessor video that I did a couple days ago on a car that was purporting to be a bucket seat car, that was not consistent with any of the database information that the Cadillac clubs rely on, and they were purporting that the B at the bottom, which is indicative of denoting a rear window defogger, was claiming to be a bucket seat car. Here on this trim tag data plate, we can see we have both B's, the B acting as a suffix to the 482, as well as the standalone B at the bottom. And the standalone B at the bottom designates rear window defogger. A B designation after the trim code is the authentic designation for a bucket seat vehicle. Okay, so today is February 22nd. Thank you very kindly.